Products. We are obviously a new line for you guys, so we're super excited we can come here and be able to just tell you a little bit about it, who we are, what we are, how we're different, how we compete against our competitors out there, and how we can make this line grow, for you guys. So let's just be an open forum. I mean, if you guys have questions, when we're going through the presentation.
How long have you guys been doing this?
And we already have questions. How long have we been here?
Doing this?
Are you talking about at Levine, or are you talking?
In general, because Levine's, we just started with you.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into that in the presentation. I mean, we've been around since the 40s. So a long time. Very long time. I'm going to hand out my business cards. I've got a cell phone on there, and I say this because I mean it. Call me anytime. I don't care if it's after hours, during business. You're welcome to call me anytime. My phone is connected at my hip. So
he's one of the few guys that actually answers his phone, so
there you go.
He means it.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're all together here. I mean, we've got one common goal: is sell parts, right? And I'm there with you guys. You guys are out there out in the streets, hitting the streets, talking to these installers, and trying to push the parts. And we're here to support you guys to do that. So if you run into a situation, don't feel uncomfortable calling me. Look, if I don't have the answer, I'll get you the answer. We've got a fantastic support group back in Pacific, Missouri, that we've got a tech line there that we can get you guys connected with as well. But please feel free to give me a call. Okay? I don't know if everybody knows Scott or not, but go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, not everybody, but I'm the local rep. I work out of the Boston area. So I'll be your local contact, and I'm down this way on a regular basis. So if you have any issues with customers, you need more field calls, anything that you need, we can always set up, and I'll be the guy working with you day to day.
Okay. And
I do, but unfortunately I didn't restock them, so I don't have enough to hand out. I'm sorry.
I have a contact shop.
Yeah.
And is everybody that we're going to be working with this week here in this room?
Yes.
So, okay. Give you a little bit of background. I actually grew up on the installer side. My family had a dealership, car dealership. We had a service, obviously, at the dealership. But just recently was sold a 6-bay, full service mechanic shop, machine shop. So I can kind of talk the lingo a little bit out on the street, which I think helps a little bit in this position. So I know kind of from the installer side as well as the manufacturer side. So I think that might be something that would be fun. I enjoy going out and hitting the fields and going and hitting these installers. So I really look forward to working with you guys and see what we can do to drum up some more business. Okay, first question. Who had heard of Walker before it came online here? Ed?
Oh, never.
All right. So who thought it was Walker exhaust?
Probably a lot.
One?
I did.
Yeah, I thought you'd get more than that. It seems like every time I go somewhere, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I know Walker," and they're all talking about exhaust. Funny quick story. We were out at the Apex SEMA show, and prior to that, they have they call it an AWDA meeting, where you go into a room by yourself with a prospect or a current customer and do a presentation very similar to what we're about to do. And this, I won't say the name, but this company came in. They were there for about 30 minutes, and the two guys, the owner and the VP, start kind of giggling and laughing. I finally said, "Well, what's so funny?" And they said, "Well, we were supposed to be in Walker Exhaust." And we thought we were in Walker Exhaust meeting, and here they were sitting here at Walker Products. So
he's a customer now.
now he's a customer, yeah, actually. So anyway, so it worked out in our favor, that's for sure. But well, anyways, I'm going to jump right into the PowerPoint. It's going to explain a little bit about who we are, where we got started. One of the questions over here was, where did we get our start? When did we get our start? Back in the middle 40s, we got our start. Obviously, on fuel systems back then was not O2s. You know, we really got our start into carburation. Into the 80s, we expanded our offering into engine management. So then getting up into the 90s and now into the 2000s, because I'm not going to go through every little thing here, but we are one of the world's known, kind of the OES side of the business, the original equipment supplier business in the world. We're actually the largest independent owned engine management company in the world. All right. This is a little snapshot of who we are, what we're about. Most all of your product is coming out of our Pacific, Missouri location. Okay, that's where we house the biggest majority of our products. We do a lot of our testing there. When we get into the presentation, we'll talk about this a little further, but we actually test 100% of all of our product prior to it going in the box. And a lot of that is done in our Pacific, Missouri plant. So then we have our Grand Junction, Colorado. I like to say that's kind of where our brains are of the company, a lot of our research and development. How can we make our product better? How can we be better than the OE? How can we do a better job of supplying the OE? Okay. England, we actually have a sales team now in Europe. Matter of fact, these exhaust temperature sensors over in Europe sell as good as our O2s around here. Okay, a lot more diesel over there in Europe than there are here. Then Garden Grove, California, where all the palm trees and foo-foo is. That's where the big boys are all at. So the owner and VP and general manager of Walker Products Global is out of that office. In Mexico, we just opened up a new division down for our Mexican business down there, and we've got a sales team down there as well in a warehouse. Florida, this used to be the old TCB wire ignition plant. We actually purchased that, so now we're prime on ignition wire and coil on plug, the ignition business. So Shanghai, we actually sell into China. So we sell product in China, which is kind of the different when a manufacturer's standing up here and says the word China, usually it's all product coming from China. We don't own the whole building, but we do own the top floor, and we have a warehouse just outside of this particular building, but we're doing a stand-up job over in China. Quality certifications, ISO 9001, 2008. These are the type of certifications you have to have. If you're a Tier 1, you're obviously a OES supplier. Look. We tried to put all the makes and models on here, but it couldn't get the screen big enough. So you'll find out that our product line, we do literally have applications for all makes and models. Okay, on our O2s, we like to say we're 99% coverage. That 1% out there, don't know what it is, but when you look at this snapshot, a lot of people that do know us just think we're just the O2 guys. They see us as the O2. Well, as you can see, we've got a whole lot more products. What we have chosen to bring in here at Levine is obviously our O2s, mass airflow, exhaust temperature sensors, and full service kits. And we'll hit on each one of those. I'm going to go forward through this 250 program, but I'll stop on this one. We have two different offerings when it comes to oxygen sensors. Okay, one of them is a 250 line that's our OE specific, and the other is what we call our aftermarket line, which is our 350 line. This is a snapshot. The reason why I want to leave this up here is you can see who's got the majority of the OE business out there. Denso has 34%, Bosch has 34%, Delphi has 4%, and then you have NTK at 27%. So, I mean, these two guys are really doing a bang-up job on the OE side of the business. Now, interesting enough, everybody that you're looking at right here is a customer of ours, a very, very, very good customer of ours. So when we get into the O2s a little further, I'll show you, but we do all the termination and connectors for them. So that's kind of how we have our 250 program, which you guys are not in the process of buying, but this is more for Jeff, but is return on investment. It takes less SKUs to be able to have the same coverage with Walker because of our intelligent consolidation than it does, say, if you wanted to have 80% coverage for Bosch, it would take 738 SKUs. So you can imagine what your warehouse would look like back there and what your store levels would look like. You can get it done for 153 SKUs with Walker. Okay? OE sample library, we want to make sure we are form, fit, and function. That's what we're all about. We want to make sure when that part comes off the car, it's literally exactly like what went on the car. You know, form, fit, and function. How do we do that? Well, here's one of the places we start, and it's really something to see. I mean, you can walk into Walker and you can see that we literally have every OE piece for every year, make, and model of vehicle in our category, and it's all categorized, put on boards. So say that what's your name?
Frank?
Say Frank wants to go check out a piece to make sure it's form, fit, and function. It's got the right, right length of wire, right connector, and that kind of thing. Right, go grab one of those pieces off of the, off of the board in the library. Grab one of ours and literally put it down right in front of him and visually look and see if the form, fit, and function is there. So this is one of the things that we really pride ourselves on. One of the only manufacturers out there that do this. We've got a fantastic opportunity to be able to see what's out there and a big, big investment, as you can well imagine, in regards to that. Consolidation. This is one of the things, we call it our intelligent consolidation. This is one of the things that really sets us apart from our competition. You notice I showed you for 158 SKUs you could get 80% coverage versus well over 700 SKUs of one of our competitors. This is one of the ways that we can do it. This one's actually an example of a OE. This is an OE Denso. Alright. We have one connector that will take 2, 4, 6, 8. Take away 8 SKUs by one connector. So if you notice, they have clocking pins on these connectors. And the clocking pin is really put in place for when it's going down the assembly line, kind of dummy proof it, and make it more efficient and speed up. So, that's the biggest reason that they have the clocking pins on there. You notice ours is more of a universal. It still can only go in one way, and it will only fit one way, but it allows us to be able to have, better coverage with less SKUs, all right, which is a quicker ROI.
So which one is yours?
Ours would be the one over here with the universal.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Did you see this universal? This is important for, what's the gentleman's name down here?
Vinny.
Vinny,
Vinny.
paying attention?
This is important to see, because this is one of the things that really sets us apart from our competition. And it is our universal connector, okay? So our one connector takes away 8 of our competitors. All right, so you're going to have less SKUs. If somebody asks you on the street, how can that one part number fit 10 pieces? There's your answer. We have more of a universal connector on our O2s. Okay, so one of ours takes away 8 of those. Now this is when we get into our product differences, and this is our 350. Okay.
And that's what we're selling.
This is what you're selling. Yep. So remember I said there were 2 different lines of O2s. One is our OE base sensor. Okay, our OE base sensor is our 250, and this is our.
What's the differences or difference in quality from 250 to 350?
The big difference is the 250 is an OE base sensor. Okay, so if it's OE by Denso, it's OE. It's a Denso piece in a box. If it's OE by NTK, it's an NTK in a box. Same thing with Bosch, Delphi.
Yeah.
That's how we build our 250 program. Now our 350 program, let's think about brakes. All right. how many different, do you have good, better, best? What do you guys have here?
6 lines of line.
Six lines.
6 lines?
And nobody out there really knows what the competition, good, better, best, is. It's a shell game.
It
It's
is.
just a game.
It is. Okay. O2s are going that direction. You know, we have one of our largest customers come to us and say, listen, we are getting such an influx of China product on the street. They don't want to pay the Bosch, Denso, NTK, Delphi prices. They want to pay these China prices. You know, they said, can you come out with an economy line of O2s? Well, yeah, we thought about, okay, this might be another opportunity for us. So we went over to China. Frankly, there's like 5 manufacturers of O2s over in China. We looked at the quality. We tested them. We decided, you know what? We don't want to put the crap in our box. We just don't. It's not the quality that we go to the street with. So we chose to kind of back away from that. Some of the competitors out there that you might find some of this type of product would be maybe Auto Parts International in this area. They've got Service Tech line. They've had some issues with warranties and everything else. Spectre Premium, you might run into some Spectre Premium out there that have an import line. There's a handful of them. You get on the internet and there's just boxes and boxes and boxes of O2s. As a matter of fact, we even found one that had our part number etched on it. So they got a hold of our, what we call our DNA of our business. It's called Aces and Pies. So somebody got a hold of our DNA of our company, our Aces and Pies, and put it into the China hands, and they were out utilizing our information to do these O2s and making it look like it was one of a Walker O2. So we're obviously policing that on the internet as best as we can, but you guys are our eyes and ears out there. So if you guys run into something out on the street, you see something unusual, please, you've got my number, give me a call. I'd love to know about it.
So you guys make those yourselves?
Well, here's what I was getting to. So we found an OE manufacturer that manufactures for vehicles in China, Russia, Middle East, making O2s. So they were not an aftermarket O2 company like those 5 I told you about. Excuse me. But they are an actual OE manufacturer. They were not into the aftermarket. We've talked to them. We're doing termination and connectors for them. We developed a program to be able to hit the street with a very competitive quality piece. You'll notice you're never going to hear the words out of my mouth, economy, cheap, less quality. It's an aftermarket program. So we are not like the other imports that are coming in, okay? Our quality is much higher, and but our price is very competitive. So this versus our 250 OE business is generally between 15 to 20% less than our own current product. So if you're saving 20 points compared to the OE, it's pretty competitive. Now think about it this way. Our 250 line, that's our OE base sensor, is generally around 7 to 12 points less than a Denso or something like that. So now you take your 7 to 12, add to your 15 to 20. Now you're hitting the street with a very, very competitive price product. Every one of these are tested. We do all the termination and all the connectors in our Pacific plant. As we notice, it's got a USA flag right on there. We bring everything in, okay, and we put on all the connectors termination in Pacific. So you're able to say you've got a USA product at a very, very competitive price. Okay?
But it's not technically made here, the O2 sensor part of it.
The O2 sensor part is assembled here. Some of the parts, it's made by foreign and domestic parts. Okay? So the greater majority of it is domestic. That's the only reason why we can put the USA flag on here. But yes, it's made by foreign and domestic parts. And it's actually spelled out right on the box somewhere, which I was obviously dual-lingual. So, but any questions between the differences between a 350 O2 and a 250, because you're going to get that out there. I mean, the installers are going to say, well, what is that? The boxes look almost identical, literally almost identical. The only difference is your label's going to be yellow on 250 and white on 350. Looks exactly the same. So review again, 250 is our OE base sensor, 100% OE. 350 is our aftermarket program, our aftermarket product.
What's the average percentage and cost difference?
Okay, the average percentage, remember, between our 250 and our 350 is 7 to 10% less than a Denso, Bosch, NTK. Now, with this, we're 15 to 20% less than our 250. So if you add those two together, you're saving close,
Like 25.
25-30%.
And what
Yeah,
that
to
does
the
for you guys, it's much like you just took on FCS struts, okay?
Yeah.
And what that does for you is you have a car that's maybe 10, 12 years old, and they're looking at a sensor that's, you know, a couple $100. You're not gonna make that sale. Somebody's gonna shop around on the internet or wherever and get the cheaper one. Well, what this does is it allows you to make that sale that you wouldn't have made otherwise. So
Yeah.
oftentimes, your Denso or whatever other lines you have aren't affected that much by this.
Absolutely.
Scotty stole my thunder. Sorry. No, it's all right. And that's what we were gonna get at right here.
I mean, the biggest thing is you've got to think of some areas that you guys are calling on right now that are super price sensitive. Think of a installer out there that may say, hey man, I only put OE parts on. That's all I'm going to do. The main reason is he doesn't want any comebacks. We all know from the installer side and our side, if we get a comeback, man, that is just digging into our pocket, right? 100% tested on these products, aftermarket program. Our return rate, and this is super important. We got text man down there, ready? Our return rate, less than 0.5%. Huge, huge. So if somebody says, you know, what's the quality like on this? What's the, you know, this isn't OE. You can say it's how much? Less than 0.5%, right? Less than 0.5% on a return rate.
And
So-
what you're talking about there is like other,
Manufacturing.
right, that are out there?
Correct.
Between 7 and 12?
Correct. Yep. And it's, you know, that's a pretty high return rate when you're talking about less than 0.5%, right? So it's one of those things that we really pride ourselves on. I mean, we test, once again, 100% of these. Scott said a great story, told a great story. You know, if a guy's pulling in a 98 Ford Taurus, do you think he really cares if he gets a OE piece on there and wants to spend $100 and some on an O2? Or can you provide that guy with a fix, get his light off, and save him over 30%?
As long as it puts the light out, it keeps the light out.
Right.
Amen.
That's the key.
Amen.
That's all.
Yeah.
Past
Here's-
conditions, that's all they want to know.
That's all they want to know. Here's a problem that you're going to find out there on any off-brand, any globally sourced brand, okay, besides ours. This is what we tested and this is what we found out. It's called flow, fast light off. So if you're getting ready to take old Johnny to school, start up the car on a cold start, check engine light comes on. Once that vehicle goes down the road, heats up, 10 minutes down the road, boom, check engine light goes off. Happens all the time. It is a O2 that has flow, fast light off, doesn't work. So it's not, the computer's not communicating, not able to communicate with that O2 sensor and thinking that something's wrong until that sensor, you know, is able to send the right signal. What they do over in China is they use the same precious metals, okay, for every application. And you just can't do that. And it's a way of saving money, I understand that. But it doesn't work that way. You know, you've got to be able to make the O2 based upon its needs and match what is OE. So that was one of the biggest reasons why we didn't go that direction. But that is where your 7 to 12% come in. So and we're less than a
What?
We're less than a half. Look at that. He's got it. Less than half a point.
Because it's in my notes now.
You are the man.
Difference, notes.
This other automotive, we actually have
My notes.
trademarked the name Other Motive. If you guys get into a situation where you've got an ATV guy, a motorcycle guy, a boat guy, lawnmowers, believe it or not, even your forklifts downstairs now have O2s on them. You've got the ability to get the product. So if you run across somebody that's got an odd bird, we can do a drop ship program. We can order it for you, ship it out. I think it's $5 for a drop ship, and we can get the part. So it's just something that we have as a value there. Full service kits. I have yet to walk into an installer that doesn't say, this is a hell of an idea. I wish I would have thought of that. On engine management, our top 230 SKUs, we have what you call a full service kit. And I'll pass this around to you guys. Not only do you get the sensor, okay, but you also get the pigtail and the butt connectors all in one. Here, do you mind if I open this up? No?
Well, you can write it off.
All right, I can write it off. I can write it off. Let me get it open. So now, let's think of ourselves as an installer, okay, and not out there owning a bunch of products. But most of our installers today are on flat rate, right? Is that generally what you see when you're out there, guys?
That's a match
Yeah.
charge same.
It depends on the shop.
It's 50-50, you know.
Okay.
It's that much.
So if it's flat rate, we know he's getting paid. Say all data says this job is a 2-hour job, because all he's got to do is replace the sensor, right? That technician's loving life, because he's thinking, man, I'm going to do bang-up job. I'm going to get this done in 30 minutes, and I'm going to make some coin on it. He's going to get paid for the 2 hours, right? And all he's going to be doing is work about 30 minutes worth of work. So he gets the car up there, goes to pull out the sensor, and all of a sudden, what happens? As he goes to pull the sensor off the pigtail, freaking thing snaps. You know, bummer. Now that 2 hours is probably pretty darn correct. That car's up on the lift. The guy on the counter is trying to find just the pigtail. He's calling you guys to say, hey, can you give me this pigtail? I need it right away. Well, I'm sorry, we don't have that. Well, now he's calling the dealer. The dealer's going to want to sell him the whole freaking thing instead of just the pigtail. Now he's calling a junkyard trying to just find a pigtail. Well, guess what? You guys got the all-in-one. You got the full service kit. You got them up on your shelf down below. Sensor, pigtail, and butt connectors to make it watertight. All right? This kit is almost the same price of what you would be selling standard at, okay, on engine management. All right? Any questions on the full service kit?
So you can pass that around?
Yeah.
That's a good idea, the full service. That's premium match fabrics, that's all.
You are, sir. So, full service kits. They're in stock. Yeah, you can buy just the sensor alone, but you know, when you've got I think I got an extra, there's another full service kit here. When you're able to see that you can get everything in one kit, what's the technician going to do? If he doesn't need that, what's he going to do?
Or a way to save it.
Put it in.
What's that?
Or a way to save it.
Do it.
He's going to save it. I mean, why would he throw it away? He's going to, every one of those guys out there has got a junk drawer full of just odds and ends, weird stuff. Boom, they'll throw that right into the drawer, and the next time they'll have it. Okay? So that is something that you guys have. Listen, we are the only ones in the aftermarket that do this. Okay? That offer a full service kit. Standard offers a handful of pigtails, but other than that, everybody else is just sensor only. So if you do break the
Let me
connector,
ask
you
you a
gotta go.
question.
Yeah.
Are we stocking full-service kits only, or are we stocking it both ways?
Just the full service kits.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
That way they got no choice,
Yeah.
that's what they'll get.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to hear, yeah. Okay.
And guys, I don't know, and Ed, I should probably ask Jeff this, but what do you guys track non-sales, no sales? Say somebody
Lost
wanted a
sale?
full service kit and we had a lost sale. Okay, be nice. That'd be nice.
And so
We
with
put
these-
in a lot of numbers, but we put in basically our A and B movers. Look, you may have some C movers out there you may run across, A, even D. Problem is with our A and B may not be your A and B. So we've got a program in place that we're going to continually watch the turns, continually watch the inventory. And then if we find we don't have the right parts, then we'll lift out and put the right ones in.
So you want to crimp these, right?
You do.
These connectors?
Yep.
And if a guy over crimps it, you don't have to worry about the air going through or anything like that?
No, I mean you've got heat shrunk. I mean it's watertight.
Mhm.
It, if he doesn't do it right, it won't work. So
soldering, I'm not.
We got one.
Yeah.
you are no, kind of with you, to be honest with you. They get that on film, do we?
The shoe solder, really.
Yeah. Engine management, mass airflow. Well, okay, what a business. You guys doing a lot with mass airflow? You guys been decent?
Yes.
Guys? Okay, great. Well, one of the, mass airflow has become our second best category, and we've got obviously a ton of categories. Our mass airflow continues to grow. We continue to be the industry leader when it comes to coverage. I mean, we have more coverage than anybody in the industry. Most importantly, our pricing is extremely competitive. Our pricing with a new unit, not a reman, new one, is less than what A1 Cardone's reman is. Here through the streets, they're going away from the reman now and going to new units. So, but with what we're running to out on the street, the guys are extremely competitive. Okay? So really talk it up. I mean, the mass airflow, if you guys weren't doing a ton before, you should be. Those installers need to realize that when they pick up that phone, this is called Levine, for your mass airflow. They're going somewhere else if they're not coming to us. So that's one of the jobs when we're out making these calls. We're really going to talk up this mass airflow. Okay.
I had a customer, it was a 0560 Chevy,
Okay.
put one of your mass there, so the light went out, the truck ran worse than it ever did.
And they obviously did diagnostic problem. It was most likely it was
I
not the
sold them a
mass airflow.
standard,
Okay.
and it went away.
Wow. Thank you for that information.
Right.
Man, nothing like beating the guy up here or something. Gee, man, Christmas. Okay. Well, it could have been a faulty mass airflow. It must have been. Okay, it must have been. So that's a situation where with any manufacturer, you're going to have some, issues out there with certain parts. That would have been a warranty situation. Okay. What he should have done is turn that in under warranty and got another walker.
Hey, he was fed up at that time.
Oh, I can imagine. He's probably pretty upset. One of the things that can happen on mass airflow is, somebody drops one of these units, okay? There is a circuit board, and I think this was just a circuit. Yeah, it is. So, there's a circuit board inside each one of your mass airflow. This is one of the things that can really go bad. A lot of our competitors out there, they just use a hard plastic to protect that circuit board. Okay, we use a gel pack. We actually do drop tests 4 to 6 foot. Okay, on our mass airflow. Quality-wise, we test every single one of our units before they before they go in the box. There's a test result here. We test for ohms. We want to make sure that we are as close to the OE as possible, all right? We are the green line, as you can see once we go back to that form, fit, and function. So anyways, back to the circuit board. The way we can have our pricing to be as competitive as it is we have one circuit board for all product. So we can actually program our one circuit board, where a lot of the other manufacturers have different circuit boards for different applications. Okay? Coverage is great. His story down there stinks, but I appreciate it. I would have wished he would have put another walker in
Who
there.
else is selling that product around here?
Around here?
Gary's?
No.
He
I don't
does
think
that.
there's anybody in their market. You guys are pretty much it in this.
I
this
saw
general
it
market.
from Gary's
I
up.
picked it up.
No, or
Except for Oral
Alba,
Party
New
International.
Jersey, what are they called?
Pro Stock Auto.
Pro Stock's got them.
Yeah, that's the Gary, that is Gary's.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pro Stock's got
I
mass.
saw it on somebody's shelf.
Pro Stock's,
Pro Stock Auto.
they're about 1 to 2% return rate on our map. Yeah.
And you got Auto Part International carrying too.
Yeah, we got Auto Part International, Worldpac. I mean, these are some competitors that will come into this marketplace. But on mass airflow, Worldpac is not, or
I mean, advanced
Auto Parts
guys are-
International. No. Pretty much stayed away from the retail guys. You know, our focus is in the traditional market, traditional aftermarket like yourselves. I mean, we've passed up opportunities, put it that way. Okay. So mass airflow, coverage. Here's a good example. Walker's got 355 SKUs to a Spectre's 182, 117 by Delphi, Cardone New of 91, AC Delco 281. Cardone's Reman was 380 units. So when it comes to the overall coverage, Walker's got it hands down. Okay, we actually have 65 SKUs that are unique. I know you guys can't see this, but we have 65 SKUs that are unique to us. For instance, 2004 F-150 had a mid-year change. Typical. We've seen it. Well, our competitors chose just to have that main unit. They don't have that mid-year change. So if a customer of ours has a mid-year change, we can take care of that. It's kind of how we've developed those 65 unique pieces. Okay, so you can go out selling this product with confidence that you do have the coverage, is what I'm getting at. All right, and the pricing. Exhaust temperature sensors. Does anybody here know what an ETS or an exhaust temperature sensor is?
Yeah, I mean, it just
Man.
tells the computer
Mm-hmm.
what the temperature is, and that, by that, it knows what the mixture was, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You're the man. So exhaust temperature sensor. The way I like to explain it, it's kind of like this is the police for your diesel particulate filter. Everybody know what a diesel particulate filter is? What you put your DEF fluid in
one you
on
cut
diesels. What's that?
The one you cut out.
A lot of people do, but well, I'll tell you what, they're cracking down on that. Pull it up on the internet and see what the fines are. It's pretty huge, very huge. Matter of fact, California was the first state. I think it was like 2 years ago. They started saying, "Look, you cut these out, you're getting fined this and that," and it's working its way around. So, EPA, you know. But exhaust temperature sensor. So this kind of polices your diesel particulate filter. And just like its gentleman stated, it monitors the temperature within that exhaust stream. But most importantly, it monitors that diesel particulate filter. I don't know if you guys sell those or not. They're like $1,200, $1,400.
The particular filter? No.
Yeah, they're very expensive. What that diesel particulate filter does is, say I forget to put DEF fluid in, and all of a sudden now that thing is heating up, the exhaust temperature sensor will put that vehicle in limp mode. Okay, so the vehicle will go down to 15 miles an hour to be able to limp to a service station. okay? You guys have these available now. Very minimal SKUs. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of diesel out there, but you guys have very good coverage in this.
Are those
It-
offered for the heavy truck market?
Well, the HD, we're going to get there. We're actually in 2018, I bet, we'll have our full program launched. We're going to do a soft launch in 2017, third or fourth quarter, on the heavy duty market. But just on your medium to light duty trucks right now. So ETS, if you pull this up on All Data, you know, I don't know, a lot of guys are probably using All Data out there. It used to state that this was a dealer-only part. It used to drive me absolutely nuts when I would get out there and go to the installer and find out that he went down to the local Ford dealer to buy this instead of going to Levine's. You know, if he would have went to the Ford dealer, say an F-250, it would have been about $160, $170 for that ETS, and you guys are probably, his price is probably about 50, maybe $60. Could have saved him almost $100. All right, big difference. Big,
You have
big
good
difference.
coverage of Volkswagen?
We do. We sure do.
Because that'd be the one. That'd be the one.
That'd be the one.
That'd be
Okay.
the one.
Volkswagen, Audi, Mercedes are big. Look, over in Europe, it's kind of that 80-20 rule, like we were talking earlier. Is 80% diesel over there, 20% fuel. Over here, it's flip-flopped. You know, 80% fuel, 20% diesel. But over in Europe, we sell a ton of these. We sell as many of these as we do as O2s over here in the States. So it's coming. I mean, the more and more we're trying to save on fuel and that, I see the diesel market continually growing. And then the opportunity of HD coming in to the picture as well is another growth. So anyways, you guys have these available. Can you try to find out where we put these? They're out there, about there somewhere. Anybody got that? DPS, you guys, I don't think you guys put the DPS in.
Oh, there we go, there we go.
You might have. There's literally only 5 or 6 SKUs, okay? And what a differential pressure sensor is actually just what it says. I mean, it monitors the pressure within that diesel particulate filter, okay? So if that pressure gets too high, it puts it into limp mode and saves
They're
from,
changing
I'm sorry?
They're changing them.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They're changing them. So if we do not have those, I'll talk to Jeff and make sure, because they really kind of partner with the diesel particulate filters. The ETS is, the DPS is something you ought to have in stock. 5-part numbers. Very minimal investment, and they're not expensive. I'm trying to see what else. I think that's about it. Yep. That's about it. But those are the main things. Look, Scott and I are going to be with you guys. I don't know what